Hey everybody, in today's video what we're going to talk about is of course how you can 10x your money. I'm going to give you 5 different tips, so let's get down and let's check out the first tip. Obviously some of these can take longer than others, some may be very quick while others may take a few years. So let's get down and let's check this out. First off is buying index funds. For one idea is, of course, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF VOO, and the reason behind this is this chart right here. Over the past 5 years, it's gone from just over $100 to just over $400. That's right there in 5 years, 4x your money, and you can generally 10x your money over usually a 10 to 12 year period. So, for example, if you put $10,000 into the S&P 500, you could potentially have $100,000 10 to 15 years out. However, that is investing your money in the stock market. There's never any guarantees on return. There are times in history where the stock market's gone basically flat for a very long time, so keep that in mind. But generally speaking, index funds are more safer investments and basically outperform 95% of all investors alone. So if you wanted to be in the top 5% of investors, literally just buy index funds. I personally prefer VOO over SPY mainly because of the expense ratio called the MER. If you're new to investing, that's just basically how much it costs to invest in this ETF, because of course there's people investing your money for you and they want to get paid. The top stocks in this ETF are, of course, the top stocks in the S&P 500, and believe me, if you were to buy Apple, you would have 10x'd your money a lot faster. Same as Facebook, and also same as Tesla. So keep that in mind. Sometimes buying individual stocks could also 10x your money a lot faster. However, it is a bit more riskier. Also, Nvidia is on that list too. I was thinking about buying it back when it was like 15 or 18 bucks a share, and now it's a heck of a lot more. Another option is, of course, cryptocurrency. And there's a few different ways that you could buy cryptocurrency. You could buy cryptocurrency through something like Coinbase, where you buy the actual coin and hold it yourself. Or what you could do is, of course, buy an ETF that mirrors the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever else there is. I'm not a cryptocurrency expert by any means, but there are a lot of people who have been 10xing their money buying cryptocurrency. It's a lot more riskier of an investment. I definitely would not be going 100% all in. However, I have been exposing myself to more and more cryptocurrency recently, and in the form of buying ETFs that hold the cryptocurrency, and also another ETF called BTCY, that's the ticker symbol, which gives me a 14% dividend, and I just recently made a video on that ETF as well. And this is the website for that ETF anyways. There's a few different options where they're non-hedged versus in US dollars, and they give you a different yield for each one. I purchased this one back, Bitcoin was a bit higher in price at 14.5% for the dividend. Now it's at close to 15 because the price of Bitcoin has plummeted. However, I am still buying in. I do believe in the Bitcoin trend. Now, there are more and more cryptocurrencies being made all the time. There's a lot of scammers in that field as well. So definitely do your homework before you buy any cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and Ethereum, I guess that's how you pronounce it correctly, I hope anyways. They tend to be kind of the biggest 2 names in the entire market when it comes to crypto. And basically, you could get the same type of ETF as well, ETHY, I think it is, and that one pays over 20% dividends. So the way these ETFs work is they will sell covered calls against the actual Bitcoin or Ethereum itself. Something that you and I probably can't do very well or even at all. So you can get that kind of exposure there. You can still run the chance of the cost of crypto going up. And of course, getting that kind of a dividend is fantastic. You can also invest in alternative investments. There's a lot of different alternative investments that you could invest your money in, some being cheaper and some being more money. I'm going to give you a fantastic example. Back when I was a kid, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was a card game that I really, really loved, and I still do like it today, even though I'm older. I don't have many friends who still play it, but I have a couple of decks, and when they come over and whatever, we play and relive our past and relive our childhood. But either way, there's one single card that I have, which is one of the rarest in the entire game, called the Trihorn Dragon. And back when I was a kid and we were thinking of just selling and getting rid of the card was literally worth nothing. And today, the starting cost for the kind of condition that it's in is around $300 to $600. And considering that it's gone from zero valuation to now $300 to $600, that is absolutely amazing. And that is definitely a heck of a lot more than 10x. So if you're a kid watching this video, or if you're a parent of a kid who's watching this video and they have toys that they play a lot with, tell them to keep them, because maybe when they turn 30, like I am, they just might have something crazy on their hands when it comes to valuation. I'm not getting rid of the card. It's very rare. They're not making any more of them. So if the Yu-Gi-Oh trend continues to come back, then potentially that card could be worth into the thousands. And then there's also things like watches, classic cars in general. And then, of course, there is also different things like sports cards and so many other things. I'm going to give you actually a really good example. I have a 2016 Mustang GT. It really should be going down in price. I purchased it just over 3 years ago. Should be going down in value. I bought it for $35,000 Canadian. And it had 5,000 kilometers on it. It now has 17,000 kilometers. I don't drive it that much, I guess. But it now has 17,000 kilometers on it, and it's worth 43 to 45,000, considering the stuff that's already been put on the car from the previous owner, as well as the fact that the car market, the used car market, has gone up in value, and it's gone up in value by $8,000 to $10,000, and I've been driving the car occasionally. That, to me, is just mind-blowing, and we don't expect a newer car to go up in value. Usually they would go down in value. It should really only be worth $20,000 to $25,000 today, but because of how the world is today, with the used car market just skyrocketing, you could have literally 2 years ago bought a ton of used cars, let them sit on a lot, and just kind of make sure that they're not deteriorating, and literally sell them today for 25% more. And that is something that is a gamble. It would have been a gamble, but at the same time, that is another way that you can still make money. I'm not selling my car anytime soon. I like it. It's a lot of fun. Another option is, of course, blue chip stocks. Something like I have, which is CIBC. This is actually tied for my biggest holding right now. Depending on the day, it could be number 1 or number 2. And it pays a 4.3% dividend. Its average volume is ridiculous. And when we start really looking at something like a CIBC, you're not going to be seeing 10xing your money every single day or every single week. But what you will be seeing is over a 10 to 20 year period, you could potentially be 10xing your money on blue chip stocks. That's not always going to be a guarantee. You have to keep that in mind. However, when we start looking at people like Warren Buffett, who have made billions of dollars by investing in blue chip companies like Coca-Cola, Bank of America, Apple, he is making billions because he invested in blue chip solid companies like Chevron and just holding them forever. And that is how you can really 10x over a very long period of time. As long as you keep on investing, that is a fantastic tool to become super rich, or at least comfortable. Now we're going to be coming back to BTCY really quickly, just because this is another one of my investment tips to 10x your money. Notice how we are getting close to, you might as well round off to say 15% dividends on BTCY. Now, of course, BTCY is technically a risky investment. It's got a ridiculously high dividend. It's also a Bitcoin, which is cryptocurrency, which is risky on its own. But if you are willing to risk And if you are willing to risk even more and invest in something else like Ethereum, the same thing, ETC or ATHY, I think is the ticker symbol or something like that, but you can check it out on Purpose's website. This is not sponsored or anything, but that pays a 21% dividend. Now, when we start really looking at that, and if you put it into a TFSA, or if you have an IRA or whatever it is in the States where it's like a TFSA where you don't get taxed if you take your money out and make money in it, then you are essentially looking at something that's really crazy, because if we go onto the calculator and we go $76,000, which was the max last year for a TFSA, and let's say we did 15%, then at that point, tax-free, you'd be making $11,400 a year, and you wouldn't be paying taxes on it. And if you divide that by 12, that's $950 a month, because that pays monthly. Now, of course, these ETFs have only been around for a month, but I just really wanted to point that out. Also, if you go 76,000 times 0.214, which is the percentage on that other ETF, that's $16,000 a year. So even though you're not technically 10xing your money, you are making a hell of a good living, because $11,000 to $16,000 tax-free is amazing. But either way, these are 5 different ways that you can invest your money to 10x your income. However, there's one more way, and I'm going to give you a bonus, and that is building your own business. And if you can do a business that doesn't have a high startup cost, something like a YouTube channel as an example, and you ran it for a few years, you're really investing your time and not money itself. Obviously, you're going to need a phone or a camera to record yourself. You're going to need an iPad or a computer to edit the video, but you probably already have that anyways. You already have the so-called infrastructure to be able to start a YouTube channel. And at that point, you're just costing your time. And if you're already not getting paid for that time anyways, and you've got nothing else going on, then you could literally start a YouTube channel, and then maybe in a 5-year period, if you take it slow or if you go a little bit faster, you could be even quicker. Because I've had channels that took 10 years to go and make money, while other channels have taken only a year to start making money for me. So when it comes down to it, some channels will take longer than others. It depends on your niche, but find a niche that you enjoy. So for example, I run a basketball channel, an investment channel, which is this one, a football channel, and a gaming channel. Which one do I post most to? Basketball. I love basketball. I'm addicted to it. Next is investing, because I like investing. Third is football, because I like watching it. I know a little bit about it, and I have a football channel. And then the gaming channel is last. I barely post to it. I like to game once in a while, but I find it boring versus just wanting to play basketball. I'd rather just go to the park and play basketball. So from there, if you can find a hobby that you enjoy, make videos or whatever it may be on that topic, then at that point, you could be 10xing every single year even, because when it comes down to it, I am essentially doubling my income from YouTube ads every single year, and over the past year, it's tripled. So that is ridiculous if you really think about it. It took basically for the last couple of years, these channels have really done super well. But these are ways that you can 10x your money. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.